Hello everyone, my name is DeathTech, and today we're continuing on the tutorial for Evochron Legacy. We are going to be doing station building, which is overly complicated, whilst at the same time not really giving much benefit. But let's get into this. Alright, so first off, before we pop into a build menu, the first thing you want to do is find a location that is suitable. Now, for example, here where I am is a very, very distant, desolate location where there is really nothing else but me. So, there's no other stations here, there's nothing. You can see here in the news information, there's nothing in this area. Just me and myself and I. So, I'm going to fly out here out of this little asteroid belt that I'm in and slowly head out of this area. So once you kind of find a nice little area, I like this area because it's got some asteroids and a planet nearby. You're gonna want to start building. Make sure that you're not too close to another station though, because if you're like, I guess, I'm not sure how many sectors it is, but it's somewhere around, I guess, 5 to 10, maybe even 20 sectors near another station you won't be able to build because it's too close. So keep that in mind before you choose a location. And once you've found a place and you're there, you're gonna want to make sure you have this in your inventory. About 10 full stacks of metal. In total equivalence, this is 250 units of metal, and that is exactly how much we need to build a command center, which is basically the station. So, let's get started here. When opening the build menu, you can kind of see this window here. You can see in front of us is this thing that we're trying to build, and what it would look like in front of us. You can see at the top the X, Y, and Z of what we're trying to build and where it is, because it's not exactly in our position. This is the X, Y, Z of the target position. You can see the metal ore. The thing that is trying to construct now is the main command center, which is basically just the station. That's the station, which takes 250, which I just said. So, you know, if I go over something else, it'll say a different number depending on how much you need to build that thing. Also, don't forget, it's kind of not always there, but if you're hovering over a command, you'll see up here there is a name area, so you can type in a name for whatever you want. I'm going to slow down here because I don't want to go too far away from those asteroids. Alright, so you can type in a name, and that will be the name of the station. In this case, I don't think all of them do it, but I think actually that's the only one that does it. Just keep that in mind. So you also have the cargo bay information here of all the stuff that you have in what slot, and the overhead view, which basically is a top-down perspective of your local environment near you, where you can kind of build stuff. Do bear in mind that your height is included in this. You can see I'm kind of here. You can see the little black dot over my construction. That's where I am, and keep in mind that your height does change what the roster is for this. So if it looks like it's not lining up, just move a little bit up or down and kind of fix yourself in the right position for that view. Back to the cockpit. Alright, so I'll just quickly go over these modules for both build and deploy, starting with deploy first in terms of kind of telling you and showing you what they are and telling you what they do, if I do know what they do. From what I can gauge, hangar station, absolutely no fucking idea. I've never built it. It doesn't, I think from what I can tell, imagining what it is, it's basically a small little temporary station. The repair station obviously repairs your ship. If you dock, well, not if you dock with it. It's like you kind of like fly next to it and it'll repair your stuff. You have the sensory station, which extends your sensor range by kind of, I don't know, it's basically a giant navigation station that's a giant radar dish that reports the information back to your radar dish so you can see much further and have more information reported to you. You got the fuel processor. Now the fuel processor you have to put inside the nebula. You can't just put it anywhere. And what it does is if you're near it and you have enough power, then it will convert. Then it will use your power to generate fuel rather than you carrying around a fuel converter. A shield array is kind of a small temporary deployable that gives you a shield to hide or protect some of this other stuff. Probably goes well with the mining probe, which is actually the only deployable that relatively is useful nearby an asteroid. Now, the mining probes need to be like placed on top of an asteroid. You'll see it if I turn around. I don't know if I can lock them on right now. I'm a bit far away. Yeah, there you see. You can kind of lock them onto an asteroid and it will mine for you without you having to have a mining laser with you. So those are the deploy modules. You also have the build modules. I'm going to be honest with you. All of these are pretty much pointless except for the command, the shield, and the weapon turret. In my point of view at least, which I'll go into detail in a couple of minutes. But right, I'll just go over them right quick. The power supply. The power supply provides power to the nearby modules, so it is kind of useful, just the one. As well as, by, I guess, quotations, supplies power to nearby capital ships or whatever the special meaning behind it is. It's supposed to encourage more capital ships in the local sector. Living/crew, I believe that increases, well, the amount of crew kind of like pop up for you to hire-ish. Or at least that's something I can imagine it doing. Again, like, not very clear what these do at times. They're supposed to provide sector-wide benefits rather than personal gain. The production module, again, it's supposed to create items for the local sector. Doesn't really do anything for a player. No real point in building it unless you're into that kind of stuff of throwing money at a wall. Storage, just gonna say ditto to the previous one. And we have the command. Now the command is basically your station. You built this first. It's your docking bay as well as just basically your station. As soon as you build that, you have basically a source of infinite fuel in the nearby area as long as you pay them money. Yeah, you build it, but you have to pay it money. What the fuck is that? I'll get into it later. So it gives you fuel, so it's good for deep space exploration, so you can build stations way out further and further and further, so you can go further and resupply on fuel, so on and so forth. As well as it's good because suddenly you have missions in the area that you can do and kind of do your own thing in the area. And you can pick up crew and secure crew in the nearby area. A whole bunch of commodities pop out of nowhere and appear inside the station that you can just buy off without anything actually selling it to the station or buying or doing anything with the station. So basically it builds an NPC station without you having anything to do with it, which is fully stocked and fully ready. So all you need to do is really build the command module. You even have a shipyard, the hangar, the weapons lab, and the engineering lab all added to it, so you don't need to build anything else to have those things. All you need is the command module. Then we have the shield. The shield module is handy because it protects several modules against enemy fire if, like, the if your alliance in the Federation comes by and pays a visit, you want a shield module to protect your stuff. And coupling along with that, a weapons module, which is called Weapon Turret Module. Which, obviously, it's a small little weapons platform that basically destroys the shit out of any nearby hostile enemies. You have the horizontal. Does nothing. Very hard to dock other stuff to it. I wouldn't recommend building it ever, unless you're really, really, really into aesthetics. And the same goes for the vertical module, which, funnily enough, the vertical module does not have any attachment points for the horizontal module, so you can't really synchronize them together. Unless you put something else in between, like perhaps a power supply. So you could like have the command and then attach a vertical underneath that and then put a power supply and then attach horizontals to that. It's a mess, but you can get away with it if you try. Anyway, regardless of all that, let's build this station over here with our hard-earned materials and see how that goes. I'm going to call it NPC Station LOL, because why not? It's not like you have any command or control over it. And let's build this, and let's see what our little station looks like. Alrighty. You can kind of see it's being built. That's the little blue field around it, as it's still being constructed. As well as you can kind of see like instant gratification appearance, which is nice. I'm just going to let this build for a moment. Once it's done, we'll fly in and inspect our new station. And as often stated, you build it and they will come. So I'm expecting friendly ships to at some point appear. It might take a while and it might not be very frequent because this is like way, way out of the way. But it's a thing. You build a trade station and they will come. So I'll be expecting company at some point. I hope it's not hostile company, because I don't like that. Now what I'm not too certain about is whether this station has like an undying affiliation with you. So like if you build it and the sector gets turned from Alliance to Federation, whether it suddenly goes hostile to you, I don't know. I really have never had that happen to me before. So, yeah, you just gotta figure that out for yourself. Alright, so here we're docked, and you can kind of see what I mean. You've got a whole bunch of stuff in here that, like, you know, it's just there like a normal NPC station. Got some contracts available. Nobody even lived here 30 seconds ago, and apparently there's already a time race. There's a shipping path that's blocked, apparently, and there's a nearby solar array that needs cleaning. Sweet. We have, of course, the ability to repair our ship. You can refuel, which I really like to do right now. And yeah, crew management and stuff. You can hire people already, which is sweet. And in entering the station, you can see the engineering lab, weapons lab, all of that stuff is right here and functional. So, yeah. Now, obviously, I don't know if you noticed from my tone, but I have a few complaints about the way the system works, obviously. Because, from a logic point of view, it really makes no sense to, like, take a whole bunch of materials, fly out somewhere, build a station, and you don't even own or control it in any way or shape or form. But I can understand that, because like the way it works right now is just, it's basically a way of expanding the amount of stations in the game. So you just kind of create a new NPC station, which in this case, the way the game is built is kind of necessary for you to have that ability, because it is possible for NPC stations to be destroyed by the warring of the factions. So You know, Alliance can go out and destroy a Federation space station, and players kind of have to rebuild them, if ever they wanted to. Else eventually the game would become very barren of stations. So, you know, as you can see, unlike Mercenary, I believe in Mercenary, if I remember correctly, you would get a license right off the bat when you build a station, but in this game, they're like, nah, you can't have a license. No, that would be too easy on you, so you have to buy it nowadays. But yeah, other than that, this was station building. I could go around and build all of the other different, well, station parts, but that would take me ages. So I'm not gonna do that. It's just a little guide on how to build stuff. And in my opinion, this way of building stuff is absolutely just hardcore, ridiculously hard if you're trying to build stuff attached to each other like it's one big station. Now, fortunately for people who are lazy like me, you can just kind of build stuff nearby the station as long as you stay within like a certain radius. I'm not sure how large it is, but I'm gonna assume as long as it's within the same sector-ish, I'm kind of thinking the same radius, 2,500 kilometers, you're fine. You should be fine. Stuff should auto-link back to your station. So like, if I built an energy unit here, I'm just gonna like kind of draw it. If I built a power supply here, even though it's not connected to my station, it'll still work and it'll still provide power. So like, you don't really have to attach everything. It's just like an aesthetics thing, you know. And other than that, there's really not much else to station building. It's a little bit, I guess, harder on a planet, because you have to, on a planet it's just much easier to use the overhead construction. But I do want to point out very quickly here, when I turn around to the planet, just as an idea, on planets there is a specific area of where you can build. You cannot build near the poles, which is up here and down there, all the way down there. You can't build, but you can kind of build in the middle, so that you can, oh shit, that was the wrong one, navigation. Like on this planet, for example, if I put it on rear view, you cannot build up here in that wide area. You can't build down there in the wide area, but you can build anywhere where this is blue, basically. And that is pretty much all of the conditions to building a station. If you have all of that, then you can build anywhere you want, as long as it is within those conditions. So have fun with that bit of information. Thank you all so much for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe if you feel like, and I will see you guys in the next video. I keep like stuttering because I think I've forgotten something. No, I don't think I've forgotten anything. Anyway, bye-bye for now, guys.